The large auditorium was silent. Only the sound of footsteps echoed on the marble floor. Two guards walked straight toward Malik Johnson, who sat quietly in the VIP section. He was wearing his sharp Marine dress uniform, full of hard-earned medals. He didn't move. His back was straight. He looked proud, but inside, he felt the weight of being watched. Then a guard spoke firmly. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to come with us." The words cut through the quiet like a knife. Everyone in the room turned to look. The moment froze in time. Was this about to become a scene? Was this highly respected Marine really being told to leave? Cameras were already rolling, catching everything. In the next few moments, Malik Johnson would either be embarrassed in front of the nation's top officers, or something powerful was going to happen, something that would change the meaning of brotherhood forever. Malik Johnson had always lived by one rule: honor above everything. He grew up in a small town. His father was a city bus driver who worked long hours to feed the family. No one in Malik's family had ever worn a uniform, but Malik wanted more. He became the first to join the military, the first to go overseas, and the first to face real war. He gave everything for his country. He followed every order, worked harder than anyone else, and even risked his life to protect others. He had earned his medals one by one. He had also buried friends and carried memories he couldn't forget. Now, at this important event honoring fallen heroes, Malik sat in the VIP section, with those medals on his chest. He had been invited to represent courage and service, but all it took was 2 suspicious guards and a few doubting stares to make him question if he truly belonged. That old voice from his early days came creeping back. Do I really deserve this spot? He had faced war zones, but this quiet moment somehow felt just as heavy. Pride was starting to feel a lot like shame, and he didn't know which way this would go. The guards stepped even closer. One of them looked straight at Malik and said firmly, "Sir, these seats are for VIP military personnel only." The words hit hard, like his uniform and medals didn't count. Malik's hands pressed tightly against his knees. He didn't speak. He knew from experience that getting angry, even just once, could destroy everything he had earned. One wrong move, and years of hard work would vanish. He had trained himself to stay calm, even when things felt unfair. But this was different. The crowd around him began to whisper. People turned their heads. Phones and cameras pointed his way. The pressure built fast, like a wave about to crash. The guard reached toward Malik's arm. That's when something unexpected happened. Before Malik could say a word, a quiet movement in the row behind him made everyone stop. The attention shifted, and in that frozen moment, everything started to change. Just as the guard's hand reached toward Malik, a figure behind him stood up. It was a Navy SEAL. He was tall, strong, and completely silent. The entire hall seemed to freeze. Then another SEAL rose, then a third, then a fourth. One by one they stood up, their movements slow but powerful. These were not just any soldiers. The tridents on their uniforms showed who they were. Men who had fought in the most dangerous places on Earth. Men who only acted when it truly mattered. The guards paused. Their faces changed. They knew what those SEALs stood for. Each one of them had earned their place through courage and strength. The room grew even quieter. All eyes turned from Malik to the men now standing like a wall behind him. Finally, one of the SEALs spoke. His voice was calm but firm. "He belongs here. He's one of us." The words echoed through the room. They didn't shout, they didn't threaten, but their message was clear. Malik Johnson was not alone. In that moment, the air in the room shifted. Respect replaced doubt, and power returned to where it always belonged, with honor. The guards didn't say anything at first. They just stood there, frozen. The 4 Navy SEALs behind Malik didn't move either, but they didn't need to. Their presence alone changed everything. The power in the room had clearly shifted. It was no longer about rules or orders. It was about respect. The guards looked unsure now. The boldness they had moments ago was slipping away, replaced with hesitation. Malik sat still, but he felt it too. Something inside him began to shift. For once, he wasn't carrying the weight by himself. He wasn't standing alone. Around the room, people watched without speaking. It was like everyone was waiting to see if this moment would end in more pain or finally in dignity. No one dared to speak over the silence. Even the smallest sounds, like the rustle of a jacket, seemed louder than usual. Malik didn't need to rise. His silence said it all. One of the guards quietly spoke into his radio. Malik's heart was racing. Was this going to get worse? Would he be pulled out in front of everyone, even after all he had done for his country? He thought about the headlines, the judgment, and the shame. That same old voice whispered again, "Maybe they'll never accept you." Then, the lead guard finally let out a long breath. "There's been a misunderstanding," he said, his voice softer now. His shoulders dropped, as if the weight had hit him too. The Navy SEALs behind Malik didn't sit down right away. They stood tall, holding their ground until the guards slowly stepped back. Malik stayed in his seat, his back straight. He didn't need to speak. He didn't need to argue. In that moment, his silence spoke louder than anything he could say. Respect had returned, and so had his sense of worth. The ceremony continued, but something had clearly changed. People looked at Malik Johnson differently now. The moment wasn't just about medals or uniforms anymore. It was about what it truly meant to stand together. As the event went on, a few people quietly walked over to Malik. They didn't say much, just small nods, firm handshakes, and looks that said everything without words. Malik didn't need applause or attention. He had felt something stronger than that. For the first time, he wasn't just respected, he was seen. And that made all the difference. Later that day, Malik Johnson sat quietly, thinking about everything that had happened. He didn't need people to cheer or clap. What mattered most was what he felt inside. For years, he had carried the heavy feeling of not fully belonging. But today was different. He hadn't just been defended, he had been accepted. Those 4 SEALs didn't just protect him, they claimed him as one of their own. And for the first time in his life, that quiet voice in the back of his mind, the one that always asked, "Do I belong here?" finally went silent.